Hello scientists, my name is Rhea and I'm a TA for USC's Young Scientists Program. I typically teach 3rd grade at Lanisha B. Weems Elementary, but today I'll be teaching you about the frog life cycle. Let's start by talking about what a life cycle is. A life cycle is a series of changes that occur throughout an organism's life. And an organism is any living thing, like any kind of plant or animal, and all organisms have life cycles. Even us humans have life cycles. For example, we all start as babies, and then we become children, and finally adults. The organism that we'll be talking about is frogs. Let's take a little bit to remind ourselves of the steps of the scientific method. We start out with our question. We then make a prediction. Then, during our experiment, we want to make some observations. And finally, we'll make a conclusion. Our question for today is, what are the correct steps in the frog life cycle? Now let's make a prediction. So I've scrambled up the order of the frog life cycle here, and we're going to pause this video and write down the order that you predict the frog life cycle occurs. Now let's watch this video that I've linked down below and make some observations while we learn about the life cycle of a frog. Now that we've learned about a frog life cycle, let's make our conclusion about the correct order of the steps in our life cycle. So from the video, we learned that it all starts with the mother frog laying some eggs. So we want to start with eggs. From the eggs, we get a tadpole, right? And then we have the tadpole that grows legs. So our third step is a tadpole with legs. Then the tadpole becomes a froglet, right? And from the froglet, it finally becomes a full-grown frog. And then the whole thing happens again, where the frog will lay some eggs and the cycle will start over. Now that we've learned about the frog life cycle, let's create one of our own. So you can either use the printable version and make a craft, or you can grab a piece of paper and draw it on there. Depending on how you choose to make your frog life cycle craft, you may need the following materials. So some green construction paper, some scissors, some tape, or you can use glue. You'll want a writing utensil, and finally, you'll want the printed off frog life cycle. And if you're following along by drawing the life cycle, you'll want any piece of paper and some markers or crayons to draw your life cycle. You're going to want to start by filling in the names of all the steps, and you can even give your frog a name. Then you're going to want to cut everything out, including the head and the steps. Next, you're going to want to fold your construction paper down, hot dog style, and cut down the fold. Next, line your paper up vertically and tape or glue the middle together. Next, you're going to want to fold the piece of paper into 6 even rectangles by folding up on one side, flipping it over, and folding up on the other side. And you can continue doing this until you have 6 even rectangles and it all comes together kind of like a fan. Now you can take the head on the top and begin to put the steps in order along the inside of the fan. Once you finish, it should look like this. To make the arms and legs for the frog, you're going to want to fold the paper up and down like a fan and cut out the strips. Then fold those strips up and down, flipping it back and forth until you've reached the end. Then you can attach them however you want to your frog. And now our frog craft is completed, and you can remember all the steps of the frog life cycle. If you followed along by drawing the life cycle, it can look something like this. I hope you all enjoyed the activity today and learned a lot about the life cycle of a frog. To finish today's lesson on life cycles, let's learn about an important scientist who made a lot of exciting scientific discoveries. Ernest Everett Just was a biologist and educator who studied a lot about marine animal development, specifically during the egg stage of the life cycle like we learned about today. He won many special awards and recognitions for discovering lots of new things about animals and their eggs. That's all I have for today. Thank you everyone for participating and for watching.